What is up, guys? Bobgar here. It's closing thoughts time for $10 Modern Angel Reanimator. I had a lot of fun playing this deck. I know we went 1-4. I feel a little bad about that. Hopefully you guys aren't too frustrated with that. I did end up posting all of the league matches, even though a few of them were a little rough, especially against elves. We just had no chance. A couple of the other ones we actually surprisingly were in it pretty well. I was very surprised that we took a game off of goblins. I think that was very lucky by us. I think that should have been about the same as the elves matchup where we just got thwomped. But the other two matchups we lost, Living End and the Golgari Tarmogoyf control good stuff deck. Both of those I thought we actually had a really good shot of. I think we would have won at least one game of the Living End one if I just didn't punt repeatedly. That first game was so painful for me to rewatch. I don't know. I feel really bad about it just because that was just the epitome of sloppy play. I played it really poorly. And then against the Golgari deck, we were actually one draw step away from winning. He top decked a Thoughtseize the literal turn he needed it. Otherwise, we would have gone off and won. And I'm not gonna like harp on that too much as like, oh man, he got so lucky. Otherwise we would have won. I mean, we got a little lucky to get to that point. He runs a lot of those kind of disruption effects that would have stopped us. He was getting a lot of draw steps because he had Dark Confidant in play. I mean, wasn't like exceptionally lucky or anything crazy. But we were a turn away from taking that win too, and so we were 1-4. But I mean, the deck wasn't nearly as bad as I thought. We easily could have been 3-2. And I think we were super close to being 2-3. So it wasn't quite as bad and painful as I expected, even though we did go 1-4 and lose quite a bit. And the one match when we got was also felt a little lucky, although we set ourselves up for it. And the matchups we did well in are that like mid-range deck type that I said we'd probably do well against. The Golgari one and the white-black tokens one were both in that kind of wheelhouse. And then I played one additional game with the change that I think is a good change going forward. I just don't think the Thalia's Lieutenant worked the way I wanted them to, so I put them in originally because I was playing in the time where Dredge was literally the most played deck in Modern, and you just got hit by so much sideboard, and that's when I made that deck originally, and I thought there was just still a ton of graveyard hate, but we actually didn't run into that much, and I don't think Thalia's Lieutenant really helped us play fair enough to make it worth it. Which was my past experience with it, is like I won 2 or 3 games off it just playing fair. I think it makes more sense to just double down on the digging for our cards with extra Tormenting Voice or Dark Deal or Insolent Neonate or other dig spells that we could put in there to try to dig towards the pieces we need for our combo. So I think that was a mistake by me, as we saw in that game I played afterwards, which I actually happened to win that match. That was the first match I tried that. I don't know if I'll win all of them. Again, that was the deck type that I think this deck can win against. It's kind of hard to call an Eldrazi and Taxes deck fair, but more fair. You know, they don't win on turn 2, and if they don't have the right disruption for us, we don't search our deck a lot, which is one of the things they rely on. You know, they're just kind of a weenie deck that's a turn 2 slow for us. So we got there against them, and that was actually a pretty interesting match. If you guys haven't seen it, I suggest you watch it. And then I might play one more match with another version of the deck that I used to run a little bit, just because I think it's a really interesting version of the deck. It's even more janky than these, but I think it's super cool. And there's even one more version than that, which was kind of the original one I based these decks off of, which itself is kind of much more similar to the All Spells deck in Legacy, which is what all these decks are based on a little bit, since that's the kind of an Angel of Glorious Rise deck in Legacy. Anyway, so we went 1-4. It sucks, but that's life. I'm still happy I played the deck. Like I said, I hope you guys didn't get too annoyed watching it. Somehow I lost 1 subscriber over the course of the week. Hopefully it wasn't that they watched my matches for this and were like, oh god, I'm done with Bobgar. But if it was, you know, what are you going to do? And then I want to talk about the good and the bad cards. This is somewhat arbitrary. So the problem with doing this for a combo deck is you can't really say, oh, Cartel Aristocrat was bad. Well, it's like, well, what do you replace it with? It's like the only human that has a 0 mana sacrifice effect, pretty much. Or Zulaport Cutthroat is bad. It's like the same thing. It's like you need that effect. There's no other real option if you want to play the deck the way that we're playing it. But the 2 that I felt were the weakest, Golgari Thug is just the weakest dredger we have. He's awkward if you want to play him for fair. I mean, you know what the deck really needs? It needs Golgari Grave Troll, the one that's banned. I mean, obviously that makes all dredge decks better. So, but obviously we can't play that one because it's banned. I don't know. I just put an X by that one because it felt the worst to play. And then Thalia's Lieutenant, as I just said, I just don't think it's worth it trying to play this deck a little bit fair. I think this deck only wins when it's unfair, so you just got to commit to it and go the extra distance on search cards, and I think that makes the deck play a lot better. Occasionally, like with the game we had against Eldrazi and Taxes, they will just have their graveyard hate a bunch one game, but they're not going to hit their graveyard hate every time. You're probably not running more than 3 or 4 sideboard slots for graveyard hate, so I think going all in on the combo is the right plan. What else did I want to say? Oh, the winners. Angel of Chloe's Rise is the winner because it's necessary for the combo. Faithless Looting, I think, is still just the best search card. The fact that you can use it on either side and we just want to dump things in our graveyard. I mean, the disadvantage is slightly card negative, but we just don't care. There's so few cards we want to keep in hand. Basically, just lands are the only thing we want to keep in hand. So it's really totally fine. And then Fiend Hunter, I just put in because I feel like that was the one that we played for fair once or twice, and it actually felt good to play for fair. I mean, the other ones felt okay to play for fair, I guess, too, just as chump blockers. Stinkweed actually felt pretty good to play for fair. But yeah, getting to exile somebody's creature with Fiend Hunter actually is pretty good. But yeah, that's the deck. Upgrades is going to be real quick. There's really no good upgrade path. I mean, the deck is what it is. It's not like there are cards that combo better than what we had. I guess the one thing I put on here that I didn't put on here that I maybe could have, although I'm not even convinced it's good in the deck, is Simian Spirit Guide. It could help us pump the deck, the combo out a turn faster, but I'm not sure I'd actually want it. I think it's better just to filter and search for your lands and just go off turn 4. I'd have to run the percentages, but I suspect you win a higher percentage of the time that way. But the big things that I think I would improve are the land base. The land base was super awkward. Painland sucked. It made our already bad aggro matchup even worse. It also meant that we couldn't play a lot of the cards for fair when we wanted to on turn 2. So yeah, that I think was super rough. I think if we had Blackleaf Cliffs and Inspiring Advantages in there instead, we would have done a lot better. And you probably want to just improve the land base in general, like get a couple fetches and a couple like one of every shock in the 3 series, so you can just grab whatever colors you need from them. Yeah, so that's that. And the other thing is like I already said, more dig replacing the Thalia's Lieutenant. Insolent Neonate, Tormenting Voice, Dark Deal seems like about the right thing to do. I personally think Tormenting Voice would be my choice, but Dark Deal is pretty good. I mean, if you have a lot of dredgers, you can just like, and you have 5 cards in hand, you can just be like, I discard my hand, I dredge 5 times, and you pretty much just dump your whole hand in there. So it could be good as like a 1 or a 2 of. I don't think I'd run 4 of it like I do with Tormenting Voice. Like I could see splitting it as a 1 or 2 of either with Neonate or Tormenting Voice. Neonate is interesting. It's obviously very card negative. It's like just costs you a card, but we are lacking turn 1 plays and we are weak to aggro, and it shores up both of those very slightly. So it could be worth it just for those reasons, but I still think I'm a little worried with if you run it as a 4 of, you'll still end up in situations where you just kind of run out of dig and run out of gas and fizzle, which is what happened to us once or twice, which is why I feel like the Thalia's Lieutenants just aren't the right thing, because usually you'll play them for fair and still lose, which is certainly worse than just being able to dig a little farther and hopefully not fizzle like we did some of those games. And so yeah, that's the deck for the week. I think it's a super cool deck. I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, actually, I wouldn't say don't take it to Friday Night Magic. I think if you did, you'd probably win a match or 2. But yeah, it's never going to be a top tier deck. It's just a fun deck, but I think it is super, super neat. I like it a lot. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Give me comments. Let me know what you think, what I could improve, and I'll see you next time. Hey guys, Bobgar here. I just really wanted to quickly say, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. If you enjoy my content in general and would like to see more of it, subscribe. I'll be coming out with more content in the future. And please leave me comments and let me know what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, both in terms of production and in terms of my play and my deck building and all that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys next time.